Live on Facebook from the Pleasure Tour. And today I have landed in the most incredible place in Mount Shasta. And this experience, this trip has just been life-changing, and I can't wait to share with you what insights are coming in today. And if you're here and watching live, I'd love for you just to say hello so that I can feel you on the other end of the line. So in today's episode, I want to talk about how can spirituality be synonymous with pleasure? How can we make pleasure our spiritual practice? And for most of us, we tend to separate our pleasure and our spirituality, that they're two separate things that can't be conjoined. And in my book, my reality couldn't be further from that truth. In my book, ecstasy and God are one and the same. And there's no place that I feel closer to God than when I'm in nature. And I just feel that the natural world has so much to teach us about pleasure. So I'm going to, by the end of my talk today, give you a practice that you can take with you to find your ecstasy and your spiritual communion through the practice of pleasure. So far on my pleasure tour, it's been, I guess, a little bit over a week. Hi, Erica. I've spent the first part of this trip really focusing on tribe, on connection. And as I'm healing a broken heart and transitioning out of a deep relationship, I just feel it's so important that we all remember who we are through the reflection of those we love. And so it's been a wild week, so much fun of actually learning a lot about pleasure from other pleasure-minded people. And I've been teaching pleasure, I've been teaching conscious sexuality for 20 years. And I still feel like a beginner. Like I have so much to learn all about the art and the science of pleasure and how to embody that in my own life. I think that if you're anything like me, we get so busy and so distracted in the doingness of every day and in the productivity that we forget just to slow down and take a moment and find a deep and restful communion with our soul. And that's exactly what I'm doing now in Shasta. So I'm doing this leg of my pleasure tour completely alone, and that's by design. It's time for me to turn inward. And so the practice I want to offer you today is about how simple, how easy it can really be to find pleasure, especially through the natural world. And if you live in a big city like I do, sometimes we're not always like around natural elements like trees and grass and things. But I want to remind you that just the air that we're breathing is so available to us in every moment if we just turn our attention toward this miracle that is our breath. And the more attention we give our breath, the more pleasure we feel. When we can actually feel the breath oxygenating our blood and our body, I promise you, it feels so blissful. And there's actually a science to this. And if you know me, you know that I am so into the marriage of art and science. And it has to do with what I call the pleasure molecule, or nitric oxide. Not to be confused with nitrous oxide. But nitric oxide is responsible for so many of our transcendent and spiritual peak experiences, whether it be through psychedelic medicine work or a near-death experience. Nitric oxide is the physical, chemical manifestation of what we would call our prana, or our chi, our shakti, our life force. And nitric oxide is released in the brain and through the body through any experience of pleasure. So that's a shortcut to just the beginning teaser science of how pleasure works in the body. But I say this to reinforce that if you can just stop right now, wherever you are, even if you're sitting behind a computer at your cubicle indoors or on your phone, just to pause and feel this miracle of oxygen all around us. If it's available to you to feel the sunlight on your face, to know that whatever you're standing on right now, underneath it is earth. and to feel that somatic connection to nature all around us is always supporting us and sustaining our life. And actually give it your full attention. Give it your full attention, knowing and feeling how your life is celebrated by the earth. So that's what I have for you today. I know I'm in extreme pleasure. I'm in my extreme happy place being in nature and being in solitude. And if you're interested in going deeper into this art and science of pleasure, I would invite you to check out thepathtopleasure.com. That's thepathtopleasure.com. And this is a space where I go much deeper into the benefits, the science, the practice of how pleasure can radically alter our lives, and how pleasure actually brings us closer to the God or Goddess of our understanding. So I'm going to go on a fabulous hike today, and I'm so excited. I just wanted to say hi and check in with you right now. Hello, Frankie Hernandez. Hello, my love. I love seeing and feeling you all on the other end of this interweb. It's so cool. So that's all today, and just know that I love you very, very much.